Okay, you should be able to see my screen now. So yeah, thanks for joining. Also, yeah, feel free to join the stage yourself. But this call is about examples that the new examples that we are adding to the docs, and about converting these examples actually into standards that we can recommend developers to use. Um, so right now we have the NFT example in the docs, which uh, essentially describes how to build an universal NFT using Gateway. So a universal NFT is an NFT you can mint on any chain, including Zeta chain, and move it to any other blockchain. And um, it's pretty straightforward, but here is uh, a diagram of how it works. So basically, what am I saying? Alice mints an NFT on Ethereum. She gets an NFT back, uses transfer cross chain with some tokens, transfers it to Zeta chain through the gateway. And here, depending on if the destination is Zeta chain, then the NFT gets minted to the recipient on Zeta chain. If not, then tokens are swapped for the destination tokens gas, destination chains gas tokens, and a message is sent to the destination chain where the NFT is minted to the recipient, in this case Bob.
Uh,
And
there's,
yes,
we don't see the screen.
okay. Um, Thank you
We
for
only
letting.
display.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. Let me try again.
So you
Miracle.
upgraded iOS recently?
Yeah, Steam
Yeah,
is running.
maybe.
So you only see Discord, right?
Right now we see Discord, yeah.
How do I? Oh, share entire screen. That's so confusing. Damn it. It's always something. Anyway, you didn't miss much, although you kind of did. But anyway, going
Yes, we do.
back a few steps, here's the diagram. Just sending NFTs between two chains. Um, so even if you're sending an NFT from one chain to another, it still goes through Zeta chain, of course. Um, and right now, the way it works is on the destination chain, it mints the NFT to the receiver, and it transfers the tokens that have not been used, if like you supplied more than was needed, to you on the destination chain. That's just how the system works right now. I think we can probably improve it, but the idea is that you should kind of query in advance the amount that you should be sending, but if the price fluctuates, you might use more than that amount. So there's going to be some like dust that is transferred back to you here. There's no sense in sending it back because it's just too expensive, but this is free essentially. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. But that's kind of like the flow of the NFT contract. The token contract, the fungible token contract, works exactly the same way, where as instead of the NFT, you get fungible tokens. They get burned and minted exactly the same way. So let's go to the code. Close some windows here. And yeah, so we have the examples here. It's still part of the examples directory, but I'm gonna um, I'll talk about standards a bit later. So to get to this point, you just git clone um, GitHub com Zeta Chain example contract. I git clone that, go into examples NFT and Yarn to install dependencies, and um, and that's it. So basically, the system works. There are two contracts, connected and universal. Connected is deployed on EVM chains. Universal is deployed on Zeta Chain. You need both. Um, so we have a script to deploy this on testnet. There was a bug, so please check out this branch. It's in a PR. I made some fixes because the um, gas price has changed, so I had to add. But in any case, I don't even recommend deploying it on Zeta. I mean, you can do it, but it's going to consume a lot of gas. So do it only if you have sufficient gas. If not, you can just go into the tutorial, scroll down, and see these examples published, but deployed. So there's a universal NFT contract, there's a base, and there's a BNB contract. So you can just use those. So if we go to the BNB BSC scan, so this is going to be a contract on BNB testnet. And what we can do is we can actually mint an NFT. So make sure that you have balances, I mean, token balance on at least Zeta Chain and BNB, either BNB or Base. I don't have much on Base, um, but let's use BNB as an example. Um, so what we can do is we can mint an NFT on Zeta testnet. Um, this is the contract of the NFT the universal NFT contract on Zeta Chain. So with this command, we deploy, we mint a new NFT. It gives us token ID. Token IDs are not incrementing integers. I don't know if this is the right way to do things, but we need to generate token IDs that are unique. So I'm just hashing some values that are supposed to be unique, like block height and chain ID and whatever token contract address. So they're relatively unique, I guess. Um, and now we can use the transfer command to transfer this token to the BNB chain. So the way it knows that it's going to the BNB chain is by passing the zrc20 address of the chain you want to transfer to. So while building this, I discovered that it's actually easier right now to use zrc20 addresses as chain identifiers because um, that's what you use when you withdraw, which is not ideal because it would be much better if we could just use chain IDs. But for that, we need a working contract registry that can give you chain ID from zrc20 or zrc20 from chain ID and like do all these cool things. We don't have that yet, so right now it's just easier to use zrc20, and you can convert between chain ID and zrc20 on a front end if that's what you want. Um, Again, I don't know if that's the optimal way of doing things, but it's just much easier than using EVM chain IDs. So right now we're just transferring a an NFT from Zeta chain to the BNB chain, and yeah, transaction hash. So let's go into the API and
I just want to ask,
yeah,
you making outbound to BNB right now on testnet?
yeah,
Okay, there is some latency right now. Seems very
yeah. I've
investigating on that, but
noticed.
Right.
I've tried doing it a few times before the call. Basically, let me just open. I did it specifically because like if something goes wrong, we can at least. I mean, not goes wrong, but like if it takes more time than we can just like use the example. So basically, yeah, these are some transfer I made earlier today, an hour ago. Um, so it minted an NFT from zero address to the recipient, which is me, and then I minted another NFT from and on BSC and transferred it back to Zeta Chain. We can transfer them between chains as well. It wasn't working for me last time because there were issues with deposit call. Now it should be resolved, so we can try that, but it's gonna take time. So yeah, basically the CCTX has been created, um, and once it's processed, it's just gonna be like one more line here, safe mint of an NFT to the recipient, and you can send it back, and it's gonna behave predictably. Um, so that's kind of it. Um, it's not much, but it's an NFT, and there's example with fungible tokens, so you can like create a token ERC20 and send it between chains. So right now it's implemented an example, but there were some code here that developers might not want to have in their application, right? It's just like underlying not boilerplate, but underlying machinery that makes it all work. Um, and if you just give this to developers, they'll probably want to start tweaking stuff, and it might break or something, and like it's just not a great developer experience. So what we're doing right now is we are um, moving to a standard repository, standard contracts repository. Um, so this is on GitHub. It's not yet merged, it's just empty, but there's a PR here, where basically we have the same contracts, well, almost the same contracts, um, and they're modified to work as abstract contracts, so we can import them, and the developer experience is going to be like this. So it's in the test directory because I'm using it to test with local nets, so you can uh, run local net start, and it's going to test these. But that's how it works, how it looks on developer's side. So this is the contract on an EVM chain, contract on Zeta chain. It would be cool if they could be like the same contract, but that's just not possible because Gateway's API on Zeta chain is different than on EVM chains. Um, so, but yeah, basically, if you go into contracts NFT run local net start, it's actually using these contracts, so it all is hooked up together, um, and it should be working. Let's just wait for it to. So yeah, it's minting NFT. Okay, yeah, it's working. We don't have to wait for it to finish, but yeah, that's how it looks. I think it looks pretty clean. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think about any and all of this. So the idea is to publish these. Oh, hey, Peter. Good.
Oh, hey, I was just gonna ask, would you mind setting out the link for that repo as well? I don't know if you could put it into the
You mean the standards or examples?
standards.
Yeah, it's
It's fine. Now that I see it, I can also just pull it up, but
yeah.
just for posterity.
So yeah, as I was saying, the idea is to publish this um, on npm, something like that would be like Zeta chain standard. I was kind of against having a single repo for this, but now I'm thinking like we can go the Zeppelin route and have this package, and you just import whatever you need. So that would be like NFT, EVM, Universal, NFT Sol, always something like this, and that's it. So the next step is going to be to audit um, these underlying contracts, making sure that it all works, and then I think it's important that we have a very minimal implementation. So it just does transfers and that's it, nothing extra. And then we can build it upwards from here, right? We can add sort of like extensions to it and make it possible to like lock NFTs and or tokens probably makes more sense for tokens and do like rate limiting and I don't know what else can be added, but I'm sure there are a bunch of like features we can add to this. Um, One interesting idea would be to also build a bridge so that's instead of so right now this works pretty well for contracts that for NFTs for new collections, right? You just mint a new collection and it's universal transferable out of the box, which is cool. But let's say you have an existing ERC-721 and you want to send that between chains, like we can build an adapter to make this collection transferable, but we can also build a standalone bridge that just does the same thing, except it kind of locks NFTs and mints them on the destination chain, so you wouldn't need to deploy um, contract on Zeta chain for that. It's just going to be act as a as a bridge. That makes sense. Oh, I did not see your hand, please. I mean, you can join the stage yourself.
Hey, Dennis, great work. So I have a question about the. Have you looked at the FT things on Solana and how does it work?
So I looked into NFTs on Solana.
Yeah. So would you want to move something to Solana? Some NFT?
Yeah, so the idea is to extend this to Solana as soon as it supports withdraw and call. And like I'm in the process of adding Solana to LocalNet, but Solana is so damn weird that it takes me forever. So like I'm getting some help from Stefan, but like any help is appreciated because it's just like so freaking different. But yeah, I think like once I add Solana to LocalNet, I'll be able to iterate much quicker, and I wouldn't be dependent on like having these features on testnet. So we can once this is once these features are released on testnet, it's going to be like the NFT contract is going to be already built for that. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely on the roadmap to have an NFT program compatible with this.
One thing to note is that we might not need or it might not be possible to call arbitrary contract. On Solana for NFT, since NFT on Solana is I think it's the same as SPL token, just with supply of one, decimal of one. And yeah, I don't know what is required on the protocol to support, but let's figure it out. And you might not need, the point is that you might not need like calling arbitrary contract. Just the standard SPL things might be enough.
Okay.
Yeah, but,
So yeah. Yeah.
The local net that you develop, it might be a good once you have the Solana set up, then it might be a good sort of specification or exploration like for the protocol to support it and how it would look like.
Yeah, it's much easier to iterate once it's on local nets.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. I think this would be probably the first thing that we should do. Extending the capability of Solana integration, right? So I think we are in a pretty good standing to do that, but we just need to push this to the finish line, I guess.
yeah. Well, yeah, if someone on the protocol team has some bandwidth to spare on this, like any help is appreciated. Mhm. But yeah, I mean, I deployed with Stefan's help. I deployed Gateway on Solana, test validator, initialized it. Now I'm trying to do the rent payer thing. I don't know if even if it's
It sounds good. I think probably Stefan here. We can work together on the local at least to finalize a specification before we implement in the protocol.
okay. Yeah, having an NFT on Solana like that would be super cool. If we could have it as well. Ton is going to be next. I'm sure it's going to be a piece of cake. Nothing weird about Ton.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So one technical detail. So is your local net I mean the state transition of the CCTX, I suppose, is kind of implement not as a blockchain, but as like a regular program, right? So is it programmed in JavaScript or?
Yeah, it's super simple, but it gets the job done. Basically, there's actually the Solana branch, but um, it just deploys smart contracts and then puts event listeners. And when it hears an event, right, it just calls the appropriate contract, a gateway contract on the other chain. It's all running on the same Anvil instance, so it's the same chain technically, but the gateways
Okay.
are different.
So it's in JavaScript. I see.
Yeah, it's just a
Yeah.
bunch of JavaScript.
So the observation of the transactions and triggering the state transition. Okay. So edit support for Solana will need to like implement the observation as well, right?
Yeah, so right now, the gateway just gets initialized, and um, somewhere here we'll just add Solana event listening. However, it works. I'm assuming
I
it's
see.
possible to listen for events.
Um, well,
It's not.
it's different. Like I think what's happening in Solana is like you subscribe to transactions and then you parse the transaction. I don't think there is like equivalent of events in theory.
How does data client watch the gateway?
It's the same. You just parse every transaction interacting with that gateway contract.
Oh, okay. So you're listening for transactions, not events, and you just
Yeah.
parse them. Okay, that's good enough.
Yeah, the logs, there's no events. I don't think there's event. There's logs of the execution, but the logs are not types. So it's just a bunch. It's just like a standard out. So it's not pretty easy to work with, and it just mingles everything. Every log from that execution could come from different contract, and then there's no uh, universal structure. It's just a bunch of text.
Okay.
Anyway,
Well,
I think we can figure it out, and it's probably the quickest way, um, quickest path for quick prototyping. Is either from Rust or JavaScript because it's the two most well supported thing for Solana. The Go is actually less support. You have to customize a lot of bindings.
okay.
But anyway, this is my rant.
Yeah, well, having this JavaScript localnet has really like improved uh productivity for me personally because like you can iterate so much quicker on it. So yeah, if we want stuff on Solana fast, then it's in our best interest to bring Solana's gateway program to localnet. And it's also very good for tests because you can like experiment and automatically test it without the overhead of launching a bunch of Dockers and like dealing with Zeta Client and everything. Um, so it's much more lightweight than the
Yeah, I can see
localnet
that. Yeah,
and the node repo. So yeah,
thanks.
yeah, thank you. Any other thoughts, questions, suggestions on the org side? Like, is everyone cool with standard contracts repo publishing to npm, importing it in this sort of way? Does it look good? Does it look better? Okay, I guess silence means it's perfect. Happy to hear that. Anyway, I see. Nope. I guess that's if there are no questions. I'm just gonna proceed with what's in the repo. I've added Stefan as code owner so we can review this stuff, and once it's merged, we'll get a quote and audit it, and I will remove it from the example uh, section of the docs and into standards with like a beta label so that people don't take it um, too seriously. And once it's battle tested, we can remove the beta label as Charlie suggested. In any case, thanks guys for joining. That was a quick overview of the NFT example standard contract. And yeah, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.